Oh, hey, you're shy too, huh? Well, join the club. I totally get what you mean. I was shy growing up and I still can be sometimes too. But one person that actually inspires me to get out of my shyness sometimes? Well, that'd be no one other than Fluttershy. Yes, Fluttershy, the pony, one of the main six from My Little Pony. You know, Fluttershy. Anyway, yeah, but what is it about Fluttershy that makes her so relatable to me and what makes her someone that I admire to a lot? Well, I'm sure that y'all feel the same way if you're shy too, and if you've watched My Little Pony. But the thing is about Fluttershy, I really like how she shows a lot of those qualities of being shy and being afraid to kind of speak out sometimes. We saw it in the very first episode in season one where she was afraid to talk to Twilight and introduce herself. You know, she's just like, oh, I'm Fluttershy. But beyond all that, it's kind of interesting to see how she's gone from that to the end of the series where she was a lot more assertive. Yet still kind of shy, but still a lot more assertive and much more comfortable in her own skin and knowing how to be herself around others. And that's one big reason why I like Fluttershy so much is that she really shows that for us shy people out there that we can be someone bigger than who we are now. We can be someone who can be comfortable in our own skin amongst other people. We can be someone who can assert themselves. One primary episode I can think of where she learned how to assert herself was Putting Her Hoof Down from season 2. In that episode, she went to a convention where Iron Will was being the presenter on how to be more assertive. She was teased a lot for being a pushover, and we could also see how being a pushover was impacting her day-to-day life. She got pushed over by Angel Bunny for not making the salad the way that he wanted it. She got pushed over by the people at the counters when she was buying her ingredients by paying high prices. And even though Pinkie Pie and Rarity were there to help her, she still didn't quite get how to really assert herself. So she went to this convention to help her learn how to be more assertive, and Iron Will did help her, but to a far extent. Something that is more like not really being assertive, but more so being overly assertive, to the point where you're just kind of being a jerk. But the thing is, when you're first learning how to be assertive or first learning some new skill, we tend to go overboard with this. So I could say I could understand Fluttershy in that regard, but of course she did notice toward the end of the episode that she was being too assertive. She was being more like a monster to people. And that did make her reflect, how can I still be assertive and get my point across to people, get my needs and wants met? Well, when Iron Will came to her door for his payment, she just gave a simple no. And nothing more, nothing less. Just a simple no. And sometimes it's just that simple. We don't need to go be abusive or break things in front of people just to get our point across. It can just be a simple no.
Are you sure you're not just a little bit satisfied? Because maybe we could cut a deal. I mean, we're both reasonable creatures, aren't we?
I'm sorry, but no means no.
No means no, huh? Nobody's ever said that to me before. Huh. I gotta remember that one. That's a good catchphrase for my next workshop.
Now, just that one aspect of being assertive, being hard for shy people, that's just one aspect, and I can totally get behind that. But it is possible to get your point across, to get your needs and wants met, and when you just communicate them. But another aspect of being shy that I think we can all relate to is fear of embarrassment. That fear that people are just going to make fun of us. And I very much saw that in the season 2 episode, Hurricane Fluttershy. In that episode, Fluttershy had to help the Pegasi get the water up to Cloudsdale as they had a low amount of water. But she felt unconfident in her ability to do so because they had to meet a certain speed and she was never really a fast flyer. Although Rainbow Dash did come to help her kind of get out of her comfort zone, per se, she still wasn't really willing to. But Fluttershy didn't want to let Rainbow Dash down, and all the Pegasi as well, so she did agree to go ahead and participate. However, it was still very uncomfortable for her. She expressed how she felt humiliated back in flight school when she couldn't even fly in front of everybody, and everyone made fun of her for it. And I totally get it. I totally understand where she's coming from. I often feel that way around lots of people. Yeah, I've gotten better at not getting afraid to express myself in front of others, but it still is something that I tend to struggle with sometimes. But as we see with Fluttershy, she felt embarrassed when she was little, and she tried to fight her fears, but it got to the best of her. She still felt like people were talking behind her back. She still felt like people were talking smack about her for being a flow slyer. She still felt like people were talking behind her back. She still felt like people were talking smack about her for being a slow flyer. And yeah, I could totally get behind that. And on top of that, she just felt uncomfortable when people were all staring at her. And I totally get it. I still remember those times when I had to give public speeches in class, and it was not a fun time for me. I felt that way with Fluttershy. I totally get that feeling. But what Fluttershy realized she needed to do was just do the best that she can, even if everyone was looking, and just believe in herself that she can do it, that she can be helpful to the Pegasi. She can bring that speed that they needed to get the water up to Cloudsail. She just had to train as hard as she could and put all the belief she could in herself to do it. And she did. She did. And by the end of the episode, we could see that they all cheered for her. And it was amazing. Like, that's just another one of those inspiring stories that I see for myself, and I'm sure other shy people out there, that whenever you put your mind to something, whenever you put your heart into something, and you just believe in yourself to actually achieve what you want, even if it means other people are going to be looking, even if it means that other people may judge you, it doesn't get to you. You just put that aside and you do what you want to do. And at the end of the day, people are going to love you for putting all that aside and expressing yourself the way you want to.
Dear Princess Celestia, sometimes you can feel like what you have to offer is too little to make a difference. But today, I learned that every pony's contribution is important, no matter how small. If you just keep your head high, do your best, and believe in yourself, anything can happen.
Now, of course, there was another Fluttershy episode that did deal with the whole thing about embarrassment. And of course, we can't expect her to just change quickly. None of us can. But I remember that episode from season 4, I think it was, Billy Vanilli, where she felt afraid to sing in front of everybody. So instead, she would disguise herself as Flutter Guy with her deep voice and sing in place of Big Mac from that acapella that Rarity took charge of. She would be behind the curtain and just singing in place of Big Mac all the time. And you could see that she really enjoyed just singing. Even though she wasn't out there on the stage, she just enjoyed singing and just being part of the magic. She enjoyed just expressing herself through song. But as soon as that curtain pulled down with everyone seeing her, all the anxiety got to her, and oh boy, I'd been there too. But by the end of that episode, we saw that she actually got over that fear, and she decided, hey, why not just start small and sing on a stage in front of my friends, even my animal friends. And she decided, you know what, just take these small steps, and I think I'll get there one day. I know I'll get there one day, where I can feel comfortable singing in front of a crowd. And that goes to show for us shy people out there that we don't have to go from 0 to 100. We can just go in our own baby steps. We can go in our own pace to feel comfortable presenting in front of an audience. We can go at our own pace. We can maybe start out with our own family, or maybe with just one friend, and just grow from there. You don't have to go from talking to nobody or performing in front of nobody to performing in front of the whole stage of hundreds of people. You can go at your own pace, and that's okay.
Sometimes, being afraid can stop you from doing something that you love. But hiding behind these fears means you're only hiding from your true self. It's much better to face those fears so you can shine and be the best pony you can possibly be.
Now, of course, I know there are other Fluttershy moments out there, and I can't really think of any to the top of my head right now, but I want to hear from y'all. What other Fluttershy moments can you think of from the series where she really inspired you to get out of your shy space or to get out of your comfort zone and maybe just get out of your own shell sometimes? Because I certainly have had plenty of them. Let me know in the comments below, because I know I haven't mentioned a few of them. But otherwise, feel free to check out these other videos I have on the screen. Alright, well thank you so much for watching, and as always, we are Eternal for Life.